Hey guys, I'm MeeMee and I do Allsorts, and if you haven't guessed already from the title card, I won't be doing a pink shin using only Arteza supplies. Arteza is an online art shop and do really good deals on any kind of art medium that you can think of, acrylics, oil paints, watercolours. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a piece of artwork using a lot of different Arteza supplies that I bought. If you haven't seen my Arteza haul video, I will put it in the iCard. Like I said, we'll be using most of the stuff then to bond, primarily the watercolours and anything metallic. So first for watercolours, you need watercolour paper. This is a 13-2 sheet pad. It's cold pressed, acid free, glue bound, but only at the top. It's also 4 and 300 GSM. This one is the premium one, but they do have an expert, but this one was on special offer at the time. Now one thing that I did notice when I opened it is that this paper is actually very, very textured, and I'm not entirely too fond of texturing paper, but then again I don't normally work with very textured surfaces, so it'll be interesting to try out. So that's going to be my surface. Then next I will need watercolours. In the hauling video is just a quick introduction, and again it's just going to be a quick introduction here. So here we have our watercolours. There's 25 colours, it's double layered, it's got extra watercolours there. The reviews are really good, and when just looking at them you can tell that they are like chalk based. And then from metallics, and these are what I've got. Now I actually completely forgot to put these in the hauling video, but these 14 metallic gel pens. They come in a variety of really nice colours. I haven't tried them out yet, but we will be doing that later. Then next up we have a pack of 8 metallic markers. As you can see, they're still in the package. I've been waiting to do a video in order to really test these out. Last but not least, we have a pack of 12 metallic gouaches. These come in tubes and then double layered, and I can't wait to see how these fare. So my whole thought process behind this is that because I have so many different colours and I have a lot of different metallics to work with, I wanted to make something like really vibrant, colourful, metallic, just throw it all in there. Now I've got the perfect excuse to actually use as many of these as possible, especially from the Arteza range. So with that said, let's get swatching. Paper I'm using is just something very, very cheap that I got in my local Hobbycraft. Yeah, you can hear the chalkiness from just trying to pick it up. But at the moment it's gone down alright. I feel like I need to use a cheaper brush, and otherwise I'm going to end up destroying these ones. And so far the colours are very, very vibrant. I'm just really don't like the way how I'm trying to pick up the colours sounds. Just seeing the purple going down, I really don't like the way how it's applying. See, some are applying differently than others. Like the purple is like very streaky, but this teal colour, it just goes down a bit more smoothly. But again, I really am impressed with the absolute vibrancy of these colours. And so there we go. As you can see, the colours are absolutely beautiful, but the more these dry, the more of a chalky look they have to them, which isn't exactly ideal. You can see there then how chalky it actually is, but at least you can pick up and move into round, which I suppose is a bonus, but the chalkiness of it really is not ideal, especially for watercolours. But not too bad if you're in starting, but as you can see, you can just get this damp patch on the pans. The water just soaks through and doesn't necessarily sit on top like normal watercolours. Only time will tell. This is just the swatching stage. So now we're on to the metallics, and as you can see here, I've got all of the 14 metallic gel pens, and I'm actually looking forward to testing them out. I know gel pens are gel pens, but you know, you might never know, there might be different formulas to other ones that have already gone, you just never know. So with these, I will be doing 2 different types of tests. I'm going to be doing one on the cheap paper. I want to see one to looks ink and white, and then I'm going to try it on black. And on black paper, that's where the colours really come out. You know, and it depends on your personal preference whether you want to use white paper or black paper, but I always test out any kind of like highlighters or metallics, and even other paints like acrylics and gouaches on black paper, just to see how vibrant they actually look. By the way, this is the black paper that I'm using. It's paint on Noir in 5 sheets, and it's by Clairefontaine. Right, and again, I'm having a lot of problems with my camera focusing, so I do apologise. Well, I'm not an expert with gel pens, but these are very lightweight. Right, and here we go. Let's get the juices going. It's like a pinky red rather than red. Some found the turning out a bit more muted than I thought they would be. And they are quite nice. I don't know what kind of green this one would be. It's almost like an apple, but not an apple. I'll just go with it. I tell you what, the pink is really nice, and I'm not usually a pink person. Apparently this one doesn't want to work. Actually, I don't know what colour this is meant to be, and someone's like a really dark grey. Almost like a purpley grey. And that is very scratchy. Wow, that gold is very yellow. I'm assuming that this is bronze, because there's like no yellow to it. Right, and there you go, there's the metallics. So they came out really fluidly, which I was actually surprised at, because the ones that I currently have, they're not exactly ideal. But apart from that purpley grey one, the rest of them came out really fluidly. And I love how lightweight these actually are. You can get into them on fluid movements. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with the rest of them on this paper, and then I'll move over to the black one. Now I know that I'm not going to be using all of these metallics, and just like having the options. You know, for really big areas I can use the markings on the gouache, you know, for smaller areas I can use the gel pens, you know, options. Right. Oh, that's quite dark. And these are the metallic markers. These ones don't have the names on the barrels. And I'm sure then to put these in black, then they'll probably turn a different colour. But since then there's quite a bit of like a silver to them, they might come out as silver, I'm not too sure. But they are coming out really nicely though. Barrels are lightweight, and the ink comes out fluidly. The nims have a bit of a squish to them, but they're quite firm. No idea what colour this is, so I'm going by the colour of the barrel, which is a beautiful poop colour. Okay, the tip to the silver one is a little bit squishy. Right, so there you go, there's the markers. They, as you can see, they are very metallic, but they do have a very strong like silver undertone. I don't know if that's an actual thing with these. The only one that isn't really showing up as metallic is that red colour, and the rest of them have that silver tint. It's satisfying to see them shift a bit. Right, so next up I'm going to be trying out all of the metallic gouaches. So I have no idea how none of the gouaches actually work, you know, like if they reactivate or anything, but I've popped them all into this metal tin. Now, I don't normally work with gouache, so I don't know really much about it. I don't know what done. These ones are actually coming out a lot better. I really love the creamy texture of it. I love the colours. And this is just on white paper, and so imagine what it's going to look like on black. Ooh, I like that colour. Alright, so there's all of the metallic gouaches, and I can honestly say I am thoroughly impressed. I love the absolute vibrancy of these. You know, you've gone into a good variety of colours, you've got some really light ones, you've got some darker ones. I really love them, how saturated they are. And as you can see, they're very metallic, each and every one of them. I can't wait to see how these come out on the black paper. Right, so this is what I've done off camera, and you know, I can say, even though then I am working on a white paper for this, you know, I always do a test on black paper just to see, you know, how it works in there, you know, in case I want to work on black paper in the future. And it's just as well because I have found that the gel pens have really lost the colour, and it's more of like, I don't know, an undertone of silver. I mean, the silver really does pop up on this, and the rest of them are like very muted and practically all the same. The markers came up a lot better. I mean, I can see that's pink, that's a bit lilac-y, that's like light blue, you know, and there's a bit more colour, but again, it's the gouache. If you look side by side, you can see how contrasting they are on both the white and the black. I mean, the colours come out far better on the white at the moment. It's unfortunately, you know, as in the markers and the gel pens don't really show up as vibrantly as I would have thought, but you know, again, this is why we do these tests. But as you can see here, then the gouache in both of them are absolutely gorgeous and really vibrant. And from where I'm sat, none of the colouring's lost. So as you can see here, you can see which one is the clear winner for any metallics, and which unfortunately I will have to give to the white paper. So with that said, let's get on with the actual art. And so I highly doubt that you can see, but I'm actually doing hummingbird because there's like a lot of really beautiful colours in there, when I can use a lot of the watercolours and the metallics. I'm doing some flowers as well. I think they're called bleeding hearts, and so then what I went with, and that's what I'm going to do. So I've already pre-prepared everything, you know, drew everything out, and we've got it taped down, and I've even went in and outlined everything in masking fluid just so I can do the background, which is what I'm going to be doing now. So I am going to be using a water brush, which I think is going to help greatly because of the pans. So without further ado, let's get going. If you watched my latest Scrawlrbox video, then you know that I hate using watercolour brushes. You know, and I just think that picking paint off the pans is going to be a lot easier. So what I'm doing somewhat of like a gradient background, so I'm like pre-wetting everything. Colours I'm using, it was a little bit difficult to try and figure out which ones I wanted to use, because you know, all of the colour is going to be in the birds and then the flowers, so I had to compromise certain things. So what I wanted to do is do blue and green background. I'm not exactly a master of watercolours, but I really do love the techniques. This is just one of the simplest backgrounds, but it's so effective. And unfortunately I can see that the paper is buckling already. There's like a giant mound right here and different down here. I think what I'm going to do is try and pick some of this up if I can. Try and lighten it. with a good technique. And it also brings up the pooling as well. Besides, I don't really want to have the background like blending in too much with the actual picture. And by the way, I really do not have any plan going into this. I'm just doing one that feels right. And if there's something that Bob Ross has taught us, and they never make mistakes, just happy little accidents. I think the paper is really starting to like pick up a bit. There's like a lot of fibers around. So, right. As much as I love masking fluid, and it's very, very messy, I mean, so I'm just going to lay down some flat colours at the moment, and then I'll go in and you know, refine everything. I know it doesn't look like much, but at least it's starting to come together a bit now. I've got more to it, but it's going to get into a whole lot better once I've started really brightening up everything. Right, so this is where we are now. As you can see, I've went in and done a lot more of the background and like doing all of the flowers. So I'm actually quite happy with the way how it turns out right now, like the effects. So now is the fun part. I'm gonna go in with the metallics. My goal is to try and go in simple so you can still see the underlayer. So now we're nearly towards the end. I've done the metallic paints and now I'm doing the metallic gel pens, just to put in a little bit extra more detail. It doesn't look like I'm doing much on camera, but trust me, it is there and it is very, very subtle. I mean, I have to keep moving around just to try and to get a good angle where I can see some of the metallics. Alright, and we are done. Now for the most satisfying part of finishing a picture. This is just ordinary Scotch tape. Okay, and there we go. Now, I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed doing this, honestly. Now, I did have my trials and tribulations with these watercolours. First of all, they're not what I'm used to because they're like so chalky, but I actually really enjoyed using them. You know, I would say that they are beginner watercolours, and honestly, I really loved the way how it came out. You know, I love the texture in the background. You know, I love how the blendings, I love how it actually came up off the page. You know, it's got all of the good qualities of watercolours, and they're so opaque as well. If you are looking for a really good set of beginner watercolours, I would go with the Arteza. The metallics were absolutely beautiful to use, and it really brought the picture to life a bit more, trying to get, you know, and doing feather details, and they were so creamy, they were vibrant, the colours were absolutely beautiful. Again, I would highly recommend them ones. And not only that, but they work so beautifully on the white and the black paper. For the gel pens, they worked really well on top, you know, and it didn't pick up any paint underneath. They came out vibrantly, although only on the white paper. It didn't come out that good on the black. But, you know, they were really good, and gel pens are gel pens. So as you can see, you know, everything worked really well together, and, you know, I've actually forgot to talk about the paper. You know, considering I don't like textured paper, again, I just love the way how it came out. It really held up. There's not that much buckling going on. It did at the beginning, but once the watercolours dried, it wasn't too bad. You know, I was able to work on smooth surfaces afterwards. So I would also recommend the paper. So as you can see here, you can't really see much of the metallics until I start moving the paper, and you can really see how beautifully they shine. Now, it does actually look a lot better in real life, but because of when the light is shining down, you can't really see that much. But trust me, it is absolutely beautiful, and one of my favourite pieces so far. And do you know what? I'm actually going to keep on using these watercolours. You know, mainly for like the opacity of it. So if you guys are actually interested in having a go with your own Arteza supplies, I will leave the link in the description box below. But honestly, first time trying Arteza, and I cannot stop highly praising it. I'm not the best in using any of these mediums, I don't claim to be, but I just love working with them. It's not the quality of tools you use, it's how you use them. So yeah, try Arteza. So with that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.